Okay lads, so we're on page 54 of our World of Graphics book today, and we're on chapter number 4, plane figures, and we're looking at the triangle. So we've already looked at how to use the protractor to draw triangles. We've looked at drawing different types of triangles with our compass, knowing different aspects of the triangle. So in this case we knew all the lengths of our sides. In this case we knew that the base, the altitude and one of the side lengths, and we've learned all of these constructions. Okay, so again we've looked at constructing a triangle with when you're given a perimeter and a ratio of the sides. So today we're going to start putting some of that into practice, and we're going to start with this one here. So number 1, the car hazard warning button. Okay, so the car hazard warning button shown below is based on a series of equilateral triangles. Okay, so that's an important word we have here, equilateral. So equilateral triangles have equal sides, so all the sides are going to be the same length, and they all have equal angles in the corner as well. Okay, so reproduce the drawing at a full size. Apply shading to your drawing with a pencil, okay, when you're finished. So we're going to try to draw this one. Now what I want to do is have this center point right in the middle. So we're going to have to use some of the theory that we have about triangles. So what's one of the first things we notice here? So as I said, equilateral triangles have all the same length sides. So we're already given one length here of 160 mil. So if this side is 160 mil, that means that every side is going to be 160 mil. Okay, now as I said, I want this point to be bang in the middle of my sheet. So to do that, I'm going to go over to my sheet, and I have my border set up. Okay, so just a recap on the border for you guys. We have to, from the very top of my sheet, I come down 10 mil or 1 centimeter. Then I come down 10 mil or 1 centimeter, 5 mil or 0.5 centimeters, and 10 mil again. And we're going to have a firm line, a construction line, a construction line, and a firm line. Okay, and in between these two light construction lines, we're going to write in the middle of our sheet, we're going to have the heading. Okay, and in this case it's car hazard warning button, and the heading is drawn with capital letters. So see here, all I use is capital letters. So car hazard warning button. All the way to the right I have my name, and all the way to the left I have today's date. Okay, so that would be setting up the top of my border. Again, with a firm line I come in 10 mil from the side, so 1 centimeter or 10 mil, 1 centimeter or 10 mil from the other side, and from the bottom I'm going to come up 10 centimeters or 1 mil as well, and they're going to be 3 firm lines. To draw the side lines, so these vertical lines, I'm going to have to use my 30-60 set square. Okay, so this one that we've used before. So that's the long one. Okay, and that will help me draw this long side, and again we'll be using our T-square then to draw the horizontal lines. So just making sure that the bottom of our sheet is set up with the T-square. Okay, so every line now I draw with the T-square is going to be parallel to the bottom of the sheet, and when I use my T-square and my set square together, I'll draw perpendicular lines. Okay, so as I said, that center point needs to be in the center of my sheet. So I want to find a center line going horizontally through my sheet and a center line going vertically through my sheet. So let's start with horizontally. So from this line on my border and this line on my border, I can see that it is just about 240 mil. Okay, if I divide 240 by 2, it's going to be 120. So I'm going to measure up 120 mil and draw a construction line across my sheet like this. Okay, so the overall length of that line from border to border is going to be, so I'm going to have to add these together, it's going to be exactly 400 mil. So to find the center of that, I'm going to have to measure in 200 mil. And I'm going to draw a construction line vertically through my sheet. Okay, so what I've done here is I've come down 120 and I've come in from the border 200, and that's going to find me the center of this sheet. And in my question, that's going to be this center point here. Okay, some more things that we need to know about this triangle. So if I draw from the center point out to here, I am dividing this angle here created by the two firm lines in two. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm bisecting this angle. So I'm dividing it into two equal angles. So if this was 60 degrees, because I know it's an equilateral triangle, so this is going to be 60 degrees up here, 60 degrees up here, and 60 degrees up here. And I divide one of them circles, or them angles, in two, I'm going to have an angle here of 30 degrees and an angle of 30 degrees. Okay, so I want to draw that line now that's going up here at 30 degrees, up here at 30 degrees, and vertically up as well. And to do that, I'm going to use my 30 degree set square. So remember this guy that we've used before, this is our 30 degree set square. So we could have this written on it if we can't remember, but this is our 30 degrees. So what I'm going to do is put my t-square down, get my set square so that it's just moving along it like this, and I'm going to move my set square until it's in line with that center point. So I'm just putting my pencil on that center point and just moving my set square over to it, and there it is. Okay, so making sure that my t-square is nice and tight to the table, that the set square is on it, and that I'm lining it up with this point here. And what I can do then is just draw a construction line like so. Okay, so that's a 30 degree line going up here. And I'm going to do the same in the opposite direction. So this one here is 30 degrees, and if I just flip it upside down like this, now I have 30 degrees in the opposite direction. Okay, and drawing a 30 degree in the opposite direction. Okay, now I want to draw in one of them edges of the triangle to get started. Okay, so which one could I draw in there? Well, I know that this line is 160 mil long. Okay, so if that was 160 mil long, it means that it's from this center line, it's going to be 80 mil to the left and 80 mil to the right. Okay, so we know that that's centered, so it's going to be 80 mil to the left and 80 mil to the right. So let's have a go at drawing that. So I'm going to, from the center point, measure out 80 mil here, and I'm going to measure out 80 mil to the left. Okay, I've got 2 points there, and I'm going to drop them vertically down until they cut one of my 30 degree lines. Okay, so I drop this down to get this point, and drop this down to get this point, and I should be able to join them up now with a horizontal line. Okay, and I can draw that in firm now because I know that that line is staying there. Okay, so I have one edge now of my equilateral triangle, and I know now that this edge here and this edge here are both 160 each, but I also know that they're going up at 60 degrees and up in this direction at 60 degrees. So, do I have anything that will help me draw a 60 degree line? Well, I could go and I could get my protractor and I could measure up 60 degrees, couldn't I? But we have a useful tool that will give us exactly 60 degrees every single time, and that's our set square. So I want to draw a line up at 60 degrees. Now we know that this line here, so this shallow angle, is 30 degrees, and this one here is 60 degrees. So this angle created here is 60 degrees. So I'm going to line it up with this vertex of the angle, so one of these base angles down here, and I'm going to draw a firm line up until I meet the center line, which is just there. Okay, so just until I meet the center line. And with my other 60 degree, which is this edge here, so this is also 60 degrees, I'm going to line up the bottom right corner of the base angle, and you'll see that they join up perfectly then, if you've done that well. Okay, so they join up right on the top there. Okay, so that would be the apex now of our triangle. Okay, and that will give us the overall altitude of that triangle as well. Okay, so we have the first equilateral triangle drawn. It should be pretty straightforward from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure up 10 mil, 10 mil, and 10 mil. Okay, and to do so, I'm lining up a whole number on my set square. So just to show you what I'm doing here down here as well. So I have my t-square left horizontally on my table. I'm lining up a whole number here so that I can now measure up 10, 10, 10, and I actually don't think there's a fourth one, there's just 10. Yeah, 10, 10, and 10. So there's 3 measurements of 10. Okay, so this indicated them with small little dots. Okay, I'm going to put my pencil onto one of them dots now, and I'm going to draw a firm line until they meet this 30 degree line and this 30 degree line. I'm going to do the same again from the next dot, from this 30 degree line to this 30 degree line, and the last dot here. Okay, 3 lines that are now getting smaller and shorter and shorter. Same thing again, 3 angles now at 60 degrees. So I'm going to have one here at 60 degrees, 2, 3, and hopefully now if you've done this accurately, these should all line up pretty well. One, 2, and 3. Okay, not too bad. So we have this now centered in the center of our sheet, which is actually very nice as well. Okay, last thing that drawing says to do is to apply shading to your drawing with a colouring pencil. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to grab a colouring pencil. I actually don't think I have a pencil on me, but I do have colouring markers, and I'm going to finish that off with red, white, red, white. Okay lads, so that now is our drawing done. Something that you could obviously learn from there is to go and get a pencil rather than to do it in marker because that now has absolutely spoiled my drawing. So go off and get yourself a pencil to shade it with rather than doing it with a marker, because markers are clearly very, very messy. So hopefully you found this video useful. Let me know if you have any questions, and take care.